If you want to be the best possible player, you need to be able to hit consistently hard and deep serves. And I'm emphasizing the word consistent because there's no benefit of going hard on your serve if you're only making in 50%. So mark my words, if you can master the tips that I'm about to give you, you'll be able to make in at least 9 out of 10 of your serves. And if you ever struggle with the yips, my last tip is an immediate cure, so stay tuned. All right, now I'm gonna go through all the main reasons why you could be missing your serve. Make sure to go through all of them so that you understand them and can apply them. Odds are you're doing a little bit of each one. So the top thing that players overlook on their serve consistency is their toss. So I want you to watch these two tosses I'm about to do and try to determine which one looks more consistent. So to clarify, the first toss, I tossed it up. The second toss, the ball spent very little time in the air and I simply connected it with the center of my paddle. To answer which is more consistent, the second toss, where I don't toss it as high in the air, is a lot easier to consistently make clean contact with the ball. If every time I hit my serve, I'm tossing it and having to chase the ball like that, it's gonna be really hard for me to catch the ball in a similar spot every time and get a consistent result on my serve. Think, if you were a golfer and you had to hit the ball as it was moving, it would be way harder to be accurate, right? You'd probably end up missing a lot of the shots. It wouldn't even hit the club. The goal is to make the ball spend as little time in the air as possible. The longer that the ball is in the air, the more room for error there is. All right, so looking into the technique, all I'm doing is I have my hand facing down, and by the time that my paddle gets to the ball, I release the ball, and I hit it in the center of my paddle. So it looks like this in slow motion, right? What you don't want to do, I think a lot of players have the tennis instinct to toss the ball up, which is actually completely unnecessary. In tennis, the only reason that we do that is because we're hitting the ball way up here. Pickleball, we can simply toss it right to ourselves. What I'm going to do, hands facing down, by the time my paddle gets there. I may have missed that one, but don't worry, I was just showing you the technique. I wasn't actually looking where I was hitting the ball. So if you're the type of player that's tossing the ball up, and you want to make the switch to connecting the ball with your paddle with minimal time in the air, you can actually practice this at home, right? So to start, to get the hang of consistently hitting in the center of the paddle like this, you can literally just start off by hitting it slow like this, trying to make sure that you're getting that clean contact. As you get more comfortable, you can start to speed it up, and eventually you can take it to the courts and start practicing your serve, right, while you're aiming into the box. So the goal of mastering our consistency with our toss is to be able to get the ball with our contact point in the same spot every single time. So we want to be making contact with the ball in the exact same spot every single time. That's what gives us our maximum consistency. If I'm constantly hitting the ball here, here, back here, here, my ball is going to go all over the place, right? So with my toss, the position that I want to get it is obviously below my waist, because that's part of the rules, and out in front slightly and to the side of my body, right? So we don't want it to be too close, we don't want it to be too far away. So I can actually set my hand in that position to get it there every single time. So it's right below my waist, out to the side, and I make that clean contact every single time. So guys, this is the ideal position right here. I'm gonna have Drew walk around me just so you can see this from every single angle, out to the side, and slightly out in front. I don't want it way too far out in front, just a little bit right here. So now that we've gone over how to set up for a shot, let's go over how to hit it and where to hit it for maximum consistency. This isn't going to be the same every single day, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So looking at where we're hitting our serve, the main thing to consider for consistency is our margin for error. So what our margin for error is how close we're hitting the ball to the net and how close we're hitting the ball to the lines, right? So theoretically, the safest serve would be around this high over the net. So let's say 3 feet over the net. It would be between the center lines, so exactly between the center lines, towards the back portion of the box. So it'd probably be landing somewhere around here. If you ever really just need to make your serve in, you should probably go for that serve. Higher over the net, center of the box, a little bit towards the back. That's gonna give you the maximum chance of making the ball in. Obviously though, sometimes you're gonna wanna deviate from this safe serve. Maybe you wanna target your opponent's backhand and you're gonna go more towards the line. Just know, the more that you deviate from that sort of serve, the more risk that you're taking in. Looking at how we hit the serve, the main things to consider are our power and our spin. So I'm sure you're probably aware that if you're trying to hit every serve as hard as you possibly can, there's a very high chance you're gonna miss a lot of them, right? So when we're thinking about power, generally, the less power we put on the ball, the the more consistency we're gonna get. That doesn't mean you should just try to hit every serve super soft though, which I'll go over later. Looking at our spin, our two main options are our topspin serve, where I brush under the ball like this, and side spin, where I cut to the side like this. In terms of maximum consistency, topspin is gonna give you a lot more margin for error, and this is what most high-level players see as their default serve. The reason topspin gives you more margin for error is when you put topspin on the ball, so topspin is when it's spinning away from you, the physics actually make the ball drop faster. So what you can do is you can hit your serve a little bit higher with topspin, and it's gonna drop in to the box, right? So there's a lot lower chance when you hit topspin that your serve is gonna fly long. So when we're looking at our most consistent serve, it probably looks something like this, right? I'm not going too hard, getting topspin, and I'm getting good clearance over the net. Another one. That's a serve that I think most players could make in essentially every time, okay? If you want to start going for more though, what you can do is increase your power. I don't think though that any player can ever justify going over 80 or 90% power. There's not really any benefit to going for 100% power when obviously you're just gonna start missing a lot of your serves. So how do we know if we should go for big, powerful serves or if we should try to be more conservative? This depends on how you feel that day. So every time you walk out on the court, you're gonna hit a few serves, you're gonna hit a few shots, and you're gonna start to get an idea of how you're feeling that day. And every shot is actually independent of one another. So one day, your dinks might feel good and your serve might feel not that good, right? Or the opposite could be the case. Your dinking might feel terrible and your serves could feel amazing. When your serves are feeling good though, and you're consistently hitting smooth, hard serves, that's when I think you can increase your pace and start to go for more, right? And you probably won't sacrifice consistency if you're feeling good. Sometimes though, you'll walk out, maybe you haven't played in like a week or two, you're feeling a little bit rusty, and you start hitting your first serves of the day, and they're going all over the place. Those are the days where you want to be a little more conservative, increase your margin for error, and take off a little bit of power. All right, so let's say I'm feeling good today. What I want to do is increase my pace a little bit. Everything else though should stay the same. So just because I'm increasing my pace doesn't mean I need to use more body or anything, right? I want to have that same contact point, same motion, same everything. Just gonna swing a little bit faster. So if I'm feeling good, just look something like this. Okay, so you see that serve might have gone a little bit lower, ended up going a little bit to the sideline. I definitely lost a little bit of my accuracy, right? So you can see as I start to go harder and harder, the risk increases. But if I'm feeling good and it's going in, that's totally fine. The last thing to consider though when going harder is who you're playing against. So if you're playing against someone that makes in every return no matter what you do, some people just have good returns, right? But against them, there's probably not that much of a reason that you should be increasing the risk in your serve, right? On the other hand, let's say they don't have the best return. They could still be a great player, but a lot of players just don't have very good returns, right? That's where going bigger on your serve will actually pay off. They might hit some short returns, they might just miss and give you a free point. So it's your job to test who you're playing against, see how good their returns are, and with that information, you'll be able to determine how often you should go big. All right, now we're gonna go through 3 tips to cure your yips. And even if you don't have the yips in your serve, you should go through these because a lot of the time you'll just feel less confident certain days, and these tips will help you a lot. So if you ever feel nervous or tight on your serve, tip number 1 is to actively keep a loose arm, specifically your hitting arm. I'm a righty, so for me, I'm referring to my right arm. When you're nervous, your first instinctual thing you're gonna do is tense up, right? And if we're tense on our serve, there's a lot of different things that can go wrong, right? I might catch the ball too early, I might shank it. So when we're feeling like this, actively keep that arm loose and try to maintain a fluid motion through your serve. So my second tip is to do a practice swing. I want you to think about golfers for a second. When a golfer walks up to hit their drive, do they just walk straight up and slam the ball? No, they almost always step to the side and do a few practice swings to line themselves up, right? So if you're ever really struggling with your accuracy and you're scared you're gonna miss your serve, it can be a big help to take a few practice swings before you hit it. Maybe line up your toss, go like this a few times, swing through, and then by the time you actually hit your serve, you're gonna feel a lot looser and more confident. The last thing to cure your yips is that you need to take your time, all right? I think a lot of players, when they're nervous, they get super rushed and they feel like their opponents are waiting for them to hit their serve, but if you walk up to the line and you just immediately serve the ball, you're probably not gonna be prepared, you're not gonna be in the right position. So as you're walking up to hit your serve, guys, lucky this ball rolled back to me. As you're walking up to hit your serve, make sure set your feet, make sure your feet are in the same position every time, get set, loosen up your arms, go through your practicing, say the score, then go, right? You never want to just walk up to the line and serve immediately. And now that you have a more consistent serve, if you want to learn how to get more power, more spin, and more control, watch this.